All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This your boy Hood at Hood Films. I appreciate y'all coming to check us out. Today we're going to talk about the boy Tim Westwood. In case you never heard of him, he's an older white guy from Europe, and he's been doing radio DJing for many years. He's been on like BBC. I think he's like worked for them. But what he's did is he was able to shoehorn himself into the hip hop world. So when black artists go to Europe, he's actually the person that they'll go see and sit down with. It's been like that for mad years. He's actually been in the industry since the 80s. So, but in Europe. So, a lot of times when artists stop being famous in America, they can still make a lot of money overseas. So who they going to see? Who is the person that they're going to, touch down with when they get there? And it's the BBC. It was Tim Westwood for mad years. So I remember seeing him a lot of times. But Tim Westwood has been accused of rape and sexual assault of about 7 to 9 women. And it goes back to the 80s. And so it's kind of like, what the hell? This guy's pretty famous and got a real strong name as far as being a radio DJ and then making money. And he obviously going to interview people from Europe and talk to people from his country. But being American in our country, a lot of people go over there and they sit down with him and have meetings and stuff like that, which makes him like basically a famous person in both countries. So they saying he was assaulting women since the 80s. I mean, that's a long time from from the 80s all the way up to 2016. They got these cases against him of different females accusing him of assaulting them. And so it's like really crazy. And they actually charged him with a crime. So they mentioned that he had been dealing with this, but they didn't charge him with a crime. So now they didn't charge him with a crime. So Tim Westwood might be going through a Diddy situation and going down. I doubt if he got the same money, he might be going his butt to prison. But if he do, it'll just be crazy for him because his scenario is really tough. And you know what I'm saying? Having these females accuse him of crimes like this, and then you're later in life, like he's 68 years old. So he's pretty much past retirement age as far as a radio DJ go. His relevancy is not going to be as strong. You know what I'm saying? And then, did he cross the wrong people? Because, it's like, with 68 years old, you kind of slip past all of the bad things that you would have took you under. But it don't look like it's going to work for him like that. It look like that he might be really doing some prison time for his scenario. You know what I'm saying? The BBC is like a really big, famous radio and video channel in Europe. And they've been around for mad years, you know what I'm saying? So, but hip hop has definitely made a foray into mass media and main media and white media. So now white folks definitely want to get hip hop. They want to hear about it. So when an artist get no more money here or their relevancy dwindles, they can go overseas and make a lot of money because it's like a second audience that's just waiting to one day finally get a chance to see their favorite artist. So when you get there, you can make money, but obviously you want to sit down with people to keep your name relevant, talk, have interviews. And that's what Tim Westwood was all about. He was sitting down. You could see so much footage of him. He got freestyles with DMX. He got interviews with some of the best artists that you would love in America. And so he has a name in both countries, but it's apparently he was doing some nefarious activity with these females. Now, obviously, it's alleged at this point. Well, not from the prosecutor's point, because they're charging him. So they believe that this stuff occurred. And even though the crimes happened so far in the back, they still bring it up today. And that's something to learn from, because it's like you can cross people on your way up and you think that you made it through or it's no big deal. But now you got these folks coming back and they got the prosecution on their side. They got the government, they got the courts, and they basically could just come in there. And even if it is a lie, you got to go deal with the embarrassment. You got to deal with sitting in court. You got to deal with dealing with paying money for lawyers. It's a lot of stuff that's going to be a stress on your life. And it's like, damn, how the hell did I get this bad? You know what I'm saying? But, hip hop is like a kind of an arena where, it's kind of a nighttime kind of situation and people are, a little bit more loose. They get to drink and smoke. They free. It's not like a job in the morning where you got to straighten up and get your butt to work and people looking at you like, hey, where were you at last night? In the hip hop world, it's a lot more freedom. There's nobody to answer to. You know what I mean? If you get drunk or whatever the next morning, you can just sleep it in. And then you do hip hop. You get up, you go do whatever interview or podcast or whatever you got to do without having the stress of standing in front of people who can judge you. So, that's a lot more loose. And if you live like that 24 hours since the 80s, you're really going to look at it like this is the lifestyle. But it's not normal lifestyle. Most people go to work. Most people have people who watching over them. If you walk in a job smelling like alcohol, people are going to say, hey, what the hell was you doing last night? People are going to make something about it, but not really so much in hip hop. You know what I mean? You meet a girl at the nightclub. It could be a Tuesday afternoon. You go back to your crib, spend a night with her. Y'all can stay at 3 or 4 days before you have to actually get up and go do something. So a lot of these situations, perhaps, could just be people who he was in cahoots with at some point, and then they just get angry over the years. Like, you know what? We never really broke up. He never broke up with me officially, or he never wanted to be in a long-term relationship with me. However these things play out, that's what you got to deal with, because you're dealing with people and there's no rules. You know what I'm saying? Even the rapper The Game was dealing with a female at a show, and he hooked up with her after the show. And then next thing you know, she called him out for some sexual assault, which ultimately led him to not coming to court about the scenario, which led him to giving up his money in future endeavors because of the default judgment that the people gave him. So with this guy, it's more of a criminal aspect on this one, where they're trying to basically get him locked up. And when you got 8, 9 females claiming you did some stuff, that's crazy. You know, because who's to say if any of this stuff is true? You know what I mean? He's going to have to really fight tooth and nail. And if he's 68, 70 years old, what if he don't remember half this shit? You talking about something that happened in the 80s? You're supposed to have a good memory about it and recall and say, yeah, I think I remember being with her. But none of that happened. None of that happened. Well, the prosecutor saying, well, how the fuck could you say none of it happened if you don't remember? Maybe her story is the one that's memorable because it happened to her. And it's like, oh, shit, damn, I probably should have said I did remember. Like, you know, this is a really touch and go scenario. And as a celebrity, he's going to be really taking down the gauntlet because they want to send a message. We've seen this playbook in America. You know, they came at Diddy, they came at R. Kelly, they came at Bill Cosby. They come at so many people in America and they take them down. And we look at it like a black thing, but they came at Weinstein. You know, Woody Allen got away. He got away with it, but most people are definitely going to be locked up for their antics if you messing with some female and you got her where she's going to call in on you and get the police involved. You're not going to make it. You know what I'm saying? And this Westwood guy, if nothing else, he killed his legacy, his name, his credential. Being somebody that's a legacy in hip hop is over with, because if you did any of the stuff that they claiming you did, then even if it's just one girl, and most times if it's 8 people claiming you, they're going to give it to one person. Come on, you talking about 8 girls or 9 people, 9 charges, 9 different individuals or 9 scenarios. Somebody's going to be telling legit talk, you know. So I think that's why they put so much on you, because maybe he was doing some of this stuff, you know. I always thought about R. Kelly. I said he never would come out and just claim he wasn't doing that stuff. Like, I wasn't doing that, man. What y'all talk about? I never did nothing like that. He just let the rumors swindle and dwell and just be out there. And I'm thinking, like, why? If you didn't do that, nigga, you're supposed to be on every fucking station screaming, I never do nothing like this. What are you talking about? So then years went by. Then decades went by. He never came out screaming. And then finally when he said, yo, I didn't do this, he was on the interview, the damage was done. It had been decades of been stuck in people's brain. Little babies was born and got big, and they know the same stuff. This dude is a wicked dude when it came to females, and he'll do anything he wanted to them. So you let so much time go by that you can't change the narrative no more. It's like it's locked and loaded. This is who you are. So ultimately he in prison. So it's the same thing about Tim Westwood. Even if he do beat these 9 cases, you talking about down the line, before he's 75, somebody else then came up with another one, and it's like, okay, hey, we ain't gonna let you beat this one. So you got to put yourself in a crazy trick bag. So let me know what y'all think, man. Have you ever heard about this guy? Do you know anything about Tim Westwood? Are you a fan of his? Do you think he's gonna go down? Let me know what you think in the comment section. I appreciate y'all watching the video, and we'll get at y'all in a minute. Peace.